Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Generation Tech. My name is Ben, and in this video we're going to be talking about lightsabers. And no, not just any old green or blue lightsaber that the average farm boy could wield. We are talking about exotic variations. And no, this isn't one of them. Like 1980s cell phones, the earliest lightsabers, called Proto sabers, could be described as bricks, or at least their battery packs. Like cell phones, they had limited battery life, but they could also send text, record voice messages,
How are you?
and send emails. Anyway, Proto sabers were used during the 100-year darkness, which started 6,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, and during the Great Hyperspace War 5,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, by both the Jedi and the Sith. You can see the cords to their power packs in these shots. Later, new power cells were developed by the Sith that could sit inside the hilt of the saber. This was then copied by the Jedi, freaking copycats, and the modern lightsaber was born. After the modern lightsaber came into being, some Jedi with hipster-like qualities went back to the old design of a waist-mounted power cell. Actually, I think it was just this guy. And they called it the retro saber. The retro saber had one advantage, and that was that it had a more powerful battery pack that could initiate a power surge that made the blade more powerful for a short period of time. But just like the ancient Egyptians on Earth who had technology centuries ahead of their time, there was one ancient lightsaber that far surpassed the proto saber and the retro saber, and it was called the First Blade. This blade was created by an ancient weapons master during the Jedi Order, so 25,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. It was then lost for many centuries, but was recovered during the Cold War 3,650 years before the Battle of Yavin. It was then restored with no battery pack, and it's hard to know whether the original weapon had a battery pack or not. Anyway, let's get back to discussing some newer lightsabers. Next, we have the double-bladed lightsaber, which dates back a long way before Darth Maul used it. According to the Tedrin Holocron, this type of lightsaber dates back to the old Sith Empire around 4,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. One early adopter of the double lightsaber was a Sith Lord called Exar Kun, a fallen Jedi. He obtained schematics from a Sith holocron and converted his original Jedi lightsaber into a double-ended Sith one. Basically, he stuck two lightsabers together, kind of like how I created my first iPhone, by taping my Nokia 2135 to the back of my iPod Touch. The double-ended lightsaber was more suitable for certain techniques than the regular lightsaber. For example, it was more deadly when thrown thanks to the double blades, as demonstrated by Darth Maul's brother, Savage Opress. The extra blade could also be kept inactive and then activated when needed, such as to block a strike, also as demonstrated by Opress. But when both blades were activated, the moves you could do were limited because of the danger of cutting yourself in half with the extra blade, something Maul would like to make sure doesn't happen for a second time. In addition to double-ended lightsabers, the Sith also sometimes used curved hilt lightsabers, notably Count Dooku and Asajj Ventress. Some Jedi also used the curved hilt lightsaber, such as Father Christmas. Just kidding, he's called Oppo Rancisis and was a Jedi Master on the Jedi Council. The curved handle apparently gave the person using it the ability to slash and lunge with greater precision. It lent itself to the Makashi technique, which was Form 2 of classical lightsaber combat. The curved handle also created unusual blade angles which could confuse the opponent. Next, we have Electrum detailed lightsabers. These were kind of pimped out lightsabers that were reserved for only the highest masters. They used the rare metal Electrum in their construction. The detailing was purely cosmetic and gave the lightsaber a gold appearance. Mace Windu used Electrum in the construction of his lightsaber, and it wasn't just Jedi. Darth Sidious's lightsaber also featured Electrum in its design. Next, I want to talk about the darksaber. The darksaber was the weapon created by the first Mandalorian to be accepted into the Jedi Order, Tari Vizsla. After Vizsla died, the weapon was stored in the Jedi Temple, but was later stolen by members of the Vizsla clan during the fall of the Old Republic, about 1,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. It ended up in the hands of pre-Vizsla about 21 years before the Battle of Yavin. He used it in the takeover of Mandalore, but after the takeover, Darth Maul killed him and took the darksaber for himself. He later used the darksaber to fight General Grievous. During the Age of the Empire, the darksaber fell into the hands of the rebels and was given to Sabine, a Mandalorian, to use in combat and to persuade her clan to join the fight against the Empire. She used the darksaber to defeat the Imperial Viceroy of Mandalore, Gar Saxon, and thus became the saber's legitimate owner and, in the eyes of some, the legitimate heir to the leadership of Mandalore. But she turned it down and later passed the saber over to Bo-Katan Kryze, who led the Mandalorians against the Empire. The darksaber was shorter than other lightsabers, had a higher pitched sound, and would also draw other lightsabers towards it with a magnetic force. It reacted to the thoughts and emotions of its user, even if they weren't force sensitive. Okay guys, there's our rundown of 7 exotic, non-standard lightsabers. Which one was your favourite? Write it in the comments below. And would you like to see part 2? I'm sure there are 7 more that I could talk about. Also guys, don't forget, at Generation Tech, we are all about putting humanity first. Have you had a problem with aliens sneaking into your backyard? Should we build a wall around the Earth to keep out extraterrestrial alien scum? If you think so, why not support the cause with a Humanity First Death to Alien Scum t-shirt from our store. Link in the description below. As always guys, please subscribe if you're new, give this video a like, and if you're watching this, you are Generation Tech.